Hi guys, yes I know I don't have my hat on. Okay, today we're going to do a tip or trick about vehicles. Part of being a woodsman is not just knowing how to build a fire, how to set up a tarp, and etc. It's being very versed in many topics, and one of the topics is your vehicle that you're going to be going out there into the outback, into the woods, into the deep desert, whatever with. You should have a very good working knowledge on it. And today that working knowledge really paid off for me. Now, it doesn't matter what vehicle it is. All the vehicles have a similar common idea. You have the engine running, and usually you have a serpentine belt or some series of belts on the front of it that power certain items, such as an alternator, which is how you recharge your battery and generate power on the vehicle, a water pump, how it circulates water out of the radiator and keeps it cool. Some vehicles have an electric. Then you have a power steering pump of some kind, an air conditioner pump of some kind, and these are things that are bolted to the outside of the engine, and that belt up front runs them. Well, on my Pathfinder right here, it has 3 belts on it, and one of the things malfunctioned today. Now, I'm lucky, I'm relatively local to home, but what if I'd been 6 hours away, deep in the forest on a camping trip or whatever, and this had happened? That would be bad. But I took the time to learn my vehicle, get out the owner's manual, get out a repair manual, and have looked at it in the past to familiarize myself with all the things on the outside of the engine and etc. So let's look. This pulley right here, if you look down, you see here's the fan, and then you can see the belts. There's a belt in the front that runs down to that over there, the power steering. There is a belt right there that runs down to the bottom. That is the alternator down there. And then right here is the air conditioner pump. This belt ran over this pulley and to this air conditioner pump, and that's all it powered. Okay. This is called an idler pulley, and what that means in English is, you see there's an adjustment screw right here and a big nut in the middle of it. The belt is put on to that pulley down there. It comes up and over this, goes across this, and then this nut is tightened up to pull this up to tension the belt. This has no lubrication whatever. It's simply a sealed bearing. But this bearing has gone out, and it went to suddenly squealing. I mean, like a pig squealing. And I knew it was about to go. Now, since I understand what each of these belts do, I cannot run it without that belt down there, the alternator. I can run a very, very short distance, but my battery's going to go dead and my vehicle's going to die. I can do without power steering pump. Yes, it'll make it hard to drive, but I can manually still drive it. The water pump is powered by that center one right there. And so it will have to turn. So if I lose the alternator and the water pump on that one, I can't drive the vehicle. If I lose this one, or if I lose that one, I physically can still drive. So what did I do? I checked it and figured out what it was. And I pulled out my EDC knife, which is the Swiss Army Fieldmaster, and it's got a saw blade on it. And I use that saw blade and I cut that belt. Why? I can't risk that belt breaking because it won't break clean. It'll probably break and then wrap around one of those other 2 important belts and cause them to break. And that would leave me stranded. So triage. I went ahead and cut it. Now, I don't throw this in the woods or something. I'll take this belt with me to the parts house. Since I've got a nice clean cut right there, I can put the 2 ends together and we can match this belt. I can also get another one of those little, what it is, you take this pulley off, and you take it in there and they will press out the old press with a 20-ton press or a 1,000-ton press or something like that, and then press in the new bearings. Parts houses will do that. But since I understand the mechanics of my vehicle, I was able to do this without any major problem. So, take this belt in and I will be able to measure it up against a new one. Now, here's your next tip or trick. Always have a repair manual with you in your vehicle so that you can at least look up and see what it is if you can't remember. Okay, I do have one. In the back cover of that manual, inside blank back cover, list down what the correct fuel filter is, water filter, air filter, all the belts, what are they? So if you have to replace something like this, when it's brand new, I write down a date and I write down, here's what the belt was at that date and who made the belt. See? So that if this doesn't break for 5 years and that company's gone out of business or whatever, and I have to walk into a parts house, I can tell them, here was the number of that, and they can usually cross-check and bring it up. Why is it important to have this? Well, it's also important because had this broke down on me in the middle of nowhere, and this could be a brand new vehicle, guys, it does not matter. Do not think because I've got a brand new vehicle off the showroom floor, I am immune to breakdown. Brand new vehicles break down a lot more than a lot of the old vehicles, that's just a fact. Because by the time a vehicle is old, it's kind of wore in. And so it's therefore, less likely for something to bind up, where something brand new is wearing in, and quite often a brand new vehicle will have mechanical breakdowns because everything's so tight and so new. So, should I have broke down in the middle of nowhere, and I've got to call you, my buddy, and I say, hey, I need this belt, I can look in the manual, look in the back of the manual and say, it is the belt that runs the water pump and the alternator, and it is belt number, and I can quote it to him right then, so he can run by the parts house, pick it up. I've got tools with me, I just don't have a spare belt. And so when you come to me, we can probably fix this on the side of the road without having to pay a big record charge or whatever. The point is, part of being a woodsman is understanding your vehicle, how it works, and what you can and cannot repair in the field to save you time, save you money, and get you out of a bind. I had a good friend several years ago that went on a 4-day hunt and had a fantastic time. I mean, he was in the middle of nowhere. And he got back to his pickup, and he stuck his key in the ignition, and it wouldn't crank, wouldn't even turn over. And when he lifted the hood, a squirrel had moved in on top of the engine and went to gnawing wires. And he didn't have a clue what any of these wires did. He called me, and I drove way up 4.5 hours to get up there. We get to the place, and in 10 minutes I had his vehicle cranked and ready to go, where he could come home and repair it properly. And it's simply because he didn't know what wires went to what or how to fix it back where it at least run home. Having a working knowledge of your vehicle pays big dividends. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Happy New Year, and hope everyone has had a great Christmas. And yes, I still have about a handful of nighthawks and a handful of blackbird haversacks left. So if you have not got a hold of me and you want to get one, go to downanddirtywoodscraft@gmail.com and I'll put you on the list right quick. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.